Welcome to Pro League Live for another week. This is where we give you all the updates on the shows and what's happening and any questions we've got during the week. And plenty's going on. You know, a lot of excitement around our mid-year shows. The first one being the Mid-Year Pro Q on July 27th at the Kingston Arts Centre here in Melbourne. And for those that might have missed last week, we've got 2 pro cards on offer for that. One for the overall women's bikini champion and one for the men's physique champion. Now, with the men, it's the first time we've had men at this show, so it's just physique this time around, but the overall winner, pro card. That's with the IFBB Pro League, and the bikini overall, same thing. So with the women's, we've got all the other categories as well, so figure and fitness and physique, plus of all the bikini classes. So if you're thinking about really going all the way and you want to go for your pro card, this is probably one of the best shows you can do it in, because it's not the Arnold, it's not the Nationals, it's an in-between show. And we really believe with the amount of guys and girls competing in bikini and physique, that there really is enough room for that third pro card opportunity just in those categories for now. So show your support and get in shape. You've still got plenty of time. Like, I think it's 10 weeks to the first to the show, and plenty of time for anyone to get in shape. We've got categories for first timers, novices, open, obviously the different categories with juniors and masters, all this sort of thing. But the important thing there is that don't be intimidated by the Pro League and think you're not ready for it, or you've got to go off and do another federation or another group first. You certainly can, but realise we have first timers for girls that are competing with us for the first time. You can only ever go in that one once, and that kind of caps the standard a little bit, but you can then also go on and do the novice and the open if you want. But to win the pro card, you have to win your height class in an open category and then win the overall. Same with the men's physique. You have to first, if we have enough in it that we split the heights, then we might have a short, a medium and a tall winner. They'll all go head to head for the overall trophy and the honour of being a Pro League professional, able to compete in any of the shows anywhere in the world. So that's pretty good news. Following that was July 27th. Our next show is August 31st, and that's our XM Active Country Classic up in Bendigo. We'd like to give XM Active a big shout out for getting behind the show and being our naming sponsor. They're at the Lansell Plaza Shopping Centre, and they are Bendigo's home for supplements. So get along, support them, tell them we sent you in, and have a look at the amazing range they've got up there. And obviously they'll be at the show promoting their stuff, and we really need people like that to get behind the show. So big shout out to those guys. My business partner at the show, Scott Goble, has been up and seen them. They're really, really excited. So we can't wait to promote the hell out of that and to see you all there. Now, the incentive to do that show and to stay in shape perhaps after the Pro Q in July, another month, and we're giving away $1,500 to 2 competitors each, $1,500 each to 2 competitors towards their expenses to go to the Olympia. That's the Amateur Olympia on with the Pro Olympia in Las Vegas in September. So we want Australians to travel and to get to these great events and to take on the rest of the world. And of course, the Amateur Olympia is also a pro qualifier, but for anyone in the world. So we'd love to see an Aussie get over there and dominate. And at that show, they'll have all the categories, you know. So for men, it'll be bodybuilding, classic physique. For women, it'll be physique, fitness, bikini, figure. It's just going to go crazy. And then in the next season, not the season B, but early next year, we're introducing a new category called wellness, and that will go right through to the pro level, and it'll be in the 2020 Olympia. And it'll be in some of the Arnolds around the world. We'll certainly be having it here in Australia, and that's a very exciting step forward for some of the girls perhaps that go to other groups, because our categories don't kind of suit them. You know, bikini, they might have to get a little bit too small, or lose too much in their legs, and figure they kind of have to get too muscular. And somewhere in between, we've got the wellness division for those girls that don't fit anywhere else. So, you know, the more divisions that we have, legitimate divisions, and we're not talking about just divisions for everyone and trophies for everyone. We're talking about having at least one category to suit every kind of body type. So that's a great new revelation. The mid-year pro qualifier, the tickets are online and also for the Country Classic. If you want to enter either of those shows, you go to www.ifbbproleague.com.au, and ticket prices The mid-year pro qualifier, they're $55, been the same price for years. We don't change that. Kids under 12 are free, and for the country classic, we're keeping the tickets at $30. So that way you can go up to Bendigo, have a nice weekend there, take your family and friends, celebrate bodybuilding in a great town. There's plenty of fantastic restaurants and cafes and all that sort of thing there, and just a beautiful little city in central Victoria. So it'd be great to see everyone come. Now both of those shows, the mid-year pro qualifier and the country classic, I should say the XM Active Country Classic, are open to anyone in Australia. So you haven't got to just think you have to be a Victorian to do those shows. No, travel down. If you want to get that pro card or get that money towards your Olympia trip, you can come from Queensland, WA, Northern Territory, we don't care. We just want to see the biggest and best lineups that we've ever seen at these shows, just to take Australian bodybuilding where it needs to go. So entry forms are online, tickets are online, and also there's sponsor information online. So it's the same thing, it's ifbbproleague.com.au/sponsor, and you can find out about the sponsorship opportunities. We've had a whole lot of companies sign up this week to do both of those shows and some of the B season shows. That's all the state qualifiers through to the nationals, all in October. And we can't have this level of venues that we're having and give away these trips and all these opportunities without the support of sponsors. And when someone does sponsor a show, I've got to say to all you competitors and fans out there to support them, show them some love back, because of them we're able to really elevate this whole thing that we're doing. I think we're going to go into some questions now, and it was good, and thanks for everyone that sent in your questions. And anyone that's got any questions now, Michael and Simone are filming, and they've got pens and iPads and all sorts of things there ready to jot your questions down. But we had quite a few come in online, so let's just go through them. This is not rehearsed, so stick with me. Which overseas shows would you recommend? Well, the beauty of the Pro League being the global organisation it is, and it's becoming NPC worldwide, leading into the IFBB Pro League, is that anyone can do any show, unless it's just like, for example, our nationals is just for Australians, but our Arnold Classic amateur show is for everyone in the world, and all the amateur Olympias around the world are for everyone in the world, and Arnold Columbus and Arnold in Brazil are for anyone in the world. So when you go to the Pro League website, the NPC News Online, and check out the shows that are available, you can do any of them, all of them, whatever you choose to do. I know there's one coming up in Spain. I know there's been there's a big one in India, and congratulations to Michael Buhner, who's going over there to represent Australia, to be one of the head judges with the Pro League over there. So wherever you see a show and it's got an amateur event, it's got the Pro League logo, you can go. It's that simple. You haven't got to suck up to anyone, you haven't got to be anybody's favourite, you can just enter the show and go. And if you let us know that you're going to be a part of something like that, particularly with the Olympia and the Arnold trips around the world, we can help you out with a team tracksuit, maybe some sponsorship, maybe just some encouragement, or putting you in touch with the promoters and getting them in the right hotel and all that sort of thing. So work with us, and if you want to do that, just contact us through Instagram right there at IFBB Pro League Oz, or you can just shoot us an email, which is info@ifbbproleague.com.au. So go. We love to see people travel. It's the greatest thing you can ever do. How many women usually compete in Bikini Masters? Look, that depends on the competition. It can be 2 to 4 at the smaller shows, and we had 15 in one class at the Arnold. And just recently in Brazil, where one of our girls from Australia, Kim Lawless, went over to compete in the Masters, and she actually won the overall Masters. And there was that many in that they had to split them into different age groups and different height classes, because there was, dozens of them. So it can vary depending on the size of the competition, but I think that goes across all the categories. The smaller shows might have 4, 5, 6, and the bigger shows can have 15 to 20. And once we get up over that 15, 16 mark, we do split them into height classes, so everybody's competing at a similar sort of look. How many competitors are you expecting for the mid-year pro qualifier? We don't know. That's why the entries are online and it's open. Normally we get about 50 or 60 when it was a female only show. When it was Amanda's all female, we get 50 or 60. And I guess when we add physique to it, we could get 70, 75 total, could go up to 100, something like that. But remember, there's a class for everyone. So if you're a first timer, don't think of a 100 number, think of like 10. And come and do your best, you know. Always say when you compete, it's you against you. Don't worry about anyone else. Just get a picture of yourself in your competition, put it up on your refrigerator, and beat that person. Repeat, and then repeat, and then repeat. You end up being a world champion. When will we have a pro qualifier with pro cards in Sydney? Well, no time soon, because all of the shows we have in Sydney at the moment are qualifiers either for the Arnold or for the Nationals. Having said that, let's see how the Nationals goes this year in Melbourne in October. We're doing it at the Plenary Theatre, which is where we do the Arnold Pro Show. It's the best bodybuilding venue in the world, and I want the amateurs to have an opportunity to compete there. So this year on October 20th, the Nationals with the 7 pro cards are at the Plenary, and we'll see how it goes. And next year we may move it around. We might do 1 year Nationals in Queensland, 1 year Nationals in Sydney. And in that case, it would be a pro qualifier. Do we have a venue for the O'Mara WA States in October? No. And there's been a split with the IFBB. The amateurs went one way and the Pro League went the other way. Us and this group we're talking about are with the Pro League, not with the amateur IFBB. We have nothing to do with them, but we don't stop our competitors from doing their shows. This question's about Mike O'Mara's show in Perth. My business partner and promoter there is Josh Lenardowitz, and we do the Josh Lenardowitz Classic early in the year as a qualifier to the Arnold. Then we're going to do the WA state titles. Do we have a date for that, Mick, the WA state show? We'll come back to that.
It is on the IFBBProLeague.com.au webpage.
Yes, I'm aware of that, but I just thought I could just drop the date. But it'll be early in October, sometime before the 20th, and that's going to be a great show in Perth. But look, as far as this split with federations, anyone that follows my stuff will see that I've not said a bad word about anyone. I've not put anyone down, and we've had all sorts of bombs thrown at us, you know. And I'm just not going to buy into that at all. I'm just going to say this. You are welcome as an amateur to do any show you want with any promoter you want, and I encourage it. Because I believe that we're running the best shows in the country. But you have to see what suits you and your body type. So don't just listen to your coaches and don't just try and do what everyone else is doing. You know, do what's best for you. And if you think you want to try and do an IFBB show or a WBFF show or an ICN show, ANB show, you know, they're all doing something that appeals to someone. And I don't know what that is because I don't go to their shows. But I'd never tell an amateur athlete what to do or how to compete or how to run their life. This is your hobby, guys. You know, you should do whatever the hell you want. So good luck to all the other promoters out there. And if you want to know stuff about their shows, contact them direct. When will the posing classes for Season B in Vic? Okay, on June 29th and September 22nd, we have free posing workshops here in Victoria and Melbourne. There'll be more dates and locations officially announced in the coming weeks, but the classes are free and everyone's welcome. And when we say everyone, we're talking also about the coaches and the training partners that want to find out more about what we're looking for and how we judge the shows. And myself and Michael go to all of them. I go to all the ones that I can. And we always have a workshop for the athletes as well as the posing and a chat. And then we always have like a little workshop on judging to say this is how you should look. And this is the look that we're aspiring to do because we want consistency with that. We want people to know how to present themselves. So for the coaches and the prep gurus and everyone out there, we do appreciate you, but please feel so welcome to come along on those days all around Australia and ask us questions, hard questions if you want, because we just want to raise the bar. But people often say, oh, the judges don't know what they're looking for. You guys change your criteria all the time. And it's not just with us, it's other federations too. And I always just say that's a whole lot of bullshit because, the judges do the very best that they can. We don't have prep coaches and personal trainers on our judging panels. And I think they're very, very impartial and they do the best job they can. But when people say, what should we look like, for example, in bikini? I say, well, find a picture of Angelica Teixeira, who's the current Olympia champion, and that's the look. Because she's beaten everyone in the world at all the pro shows, and she's our reigning champion, an Arnold champion as well. And then we might, for example, go to men's physique, or they might go to classic physique. And so we'll look at the Olympia champion because that's what you want to try and look like. We're not going to say, hey, you look too much like a pro, you need to wind it down a little bit, which is what happened in the past. We're going to say, that's the look. Now what happens? Coaches out there take note, competitors take note. Someone will go along to a show and they'll say, oh, for example, the girl that won the figure was really, really ripped. So now they're going for a more ripped look. They've changed the criteria again. Now they want the girls to be peeled with striations and just so ripped. No. We still want the figure winner to look as much like Miss Olympia as she can. However, sometimes there's no one else in the lineup that looks closer to the Olympia champion. So for example, if there's 6 in the lineup and one is absolutely shredded and the other 5 have missed their peak, or they're just too heavy and haven't dieted enough, or it's been obviously they've been cheating, or they've got softness all over, they can't be the champion. So although the more ripped girl may win the competition, doesn't mean that's what we're looking for. We're saying we have to pick the best person on stage on the day. And nobody there looks like Miss Olympia, no one there actually looks like Miss Australia. In fact, they're all a little bit off. And this is, I'm not just picking on figure, I'm just saying as an example. So therefore the judges have got an even harder job, because they have to say, okay, well, which girl there ticks the most boxes? Which one's kind of got nice symmetry and very close to the right amount of body fat and good shape and fullness in the muscles and all the other criteria? You might say, well, that girl there on the left would look fantastic, but she's 5 kilos away from being her best, so she can't win the show. So this is the conundrum that we face as judges and officials. So we're never changing the criteria. If that happens, you'll read it online, you'll see there's an official announcement made of something else. But we base our judging and our scoring and our training for the judges on the NPC in the US and our NPC worldwide and the IFBB Pro League criteria. And if you go to the npcnewsonline.com page, there's so much information there on posing and rules and categories and what we're looking for. And great job with Jim Mannion, his son JM, and of course Frank Seppi running that site. I do all their interviews at the Olympias, which I'm very privileged to do, and it's one of the most comprehensive and detailed websites you're ever going to see. Number 7, I'm competing for my first time on October 5th in Victoria. Well done. I'll be in the juniors, and I was wondering if sponsors will be there. Yes, they will. There'll be lots of sponsors there. And the beauty of the Kingston Arts Centre, where we do the Victorian qualifying shows, is the sponsor inside of the theatre. So you haven't got to go out and wait for a break and go to the foyer. And sometimes with sponsorship opportunities, sponsors want to get a table and display their goods, but then at the start all the people rush into the venue, and we might have a short break, and then on the way out everyone wants to go eat. So the sponsors don't get to really have access to the fans to sell their products unless the fans wander out to see them. And if the show's exciting, which is up to you guys to make it exciting, sometimes that's not commercially perfect. But at the Kingston Arts Centre here in Victoria, we've got a different setup with the sponsor inside with the athletes. So to answer your question, yes, there'll be plenty of sponsors there, and good luck competing in your juniors for the first time. What's the difference between novice and first timer? I've already competed with the NPC, but not Pro League in Australia. Well, the difference between novice and first timer is if it's your first time competing in an NPC worldwide or an IFBB Pro League show, then you're a first timer. If you've already done a show in our organisation, you're definitely not a first timer. We did this not to find an easy way to get trophies, but to get the girls and guys who may be lacking in confidence to compete at the Pro League level and go, oh yeah, but I've seen those open and those novice girls or guys and the standard's really high. We're saying, well, let's do a first timers division, which you can only ever do once. Once you've done it, then you've got to move forward to the novice or the open. And then the novice in our criteria is somebody that's never won a show before. So if you've won, a major title, you've won an open show, you should not be doing novice. That's for people on their way up, not for somebody to step back and then to get an easy trophy. I'm an Australian resident, but my partner's not, but we both live here. Can we compete in the state nationals? Absolutely. That's for residents of Australia, not necessarily Australian nationals or citizens. That's for people that live here. So, for example, we've got a lot of students here from India or China or anywhere else around the world that actually live in Melbourne or live in Sydney, study full-time, do their bodybuilding here, got a great passion for it. You're fine to do our state or national shows. You can still win your pro card. What we don't want with the nationals being a local kind of show is people just flying in from overseas, from the US or Canada or somewhere, and saying, I'm just coming in to do the show. No, You can do that at the Arnold's, but not at the Nationals. Will we allow coaches backstage at future shows? Well, there's some exciting news for you all, because we're coming up with a way where we will, where the coaches are going to get a wristband, and not every coach, but anyone that registers with us. One, we want you coaches to know what we can do. We want you coaches to tell us what we can do for you to help to promote you, and we're going to send out some surveys. But any coaches out there that've got some feedback of what, as promoters, we can do to promote you more, let us know. But we're going to start, we've already added on our entry forms a category where you don't just say who your gym is, which is a thing of the past really, but you can say who your coach is. And then when I'm emceeing the shows, I can read out the coach's name. And if coaches have more than a certain amount of people in our shows, then they'll get a wristband. And for other coaches that might just have someone as a one-off, they'll be able to purchase a wristband so they can go backstage and to help their competitor. The only was a few rules and guidelines, but it's more housekeeping stuff. But the one thing we won't allow is coaches going back to tan their athletes, because Pro Tan Australia is their tanning partner. They do a fantastic job, help to pay for the shows, and we're going to do the right thing by them. Short of that, you can go back and just check how they're carving up, or how the water loss is going, or even how the tan looks, and just give them those encouraging words. So yes, we will be working on getting coaches backstage. We've had that request, and we can't see it being a problem. Why don't you have stage time schedules? Because they're all lies. I've seen them all over the world, and it's impossible for you to do a schedule minute by minute with amateur shows. With the pros, I've got a little bit more ability with the finals, because I know how long each routine is and all that sort of thing. But with an amateur show, really, if people are putting up schedules, it's a guide. So what we do, we put up the running order, not the schedule. For example, if the bikini classes start at 11 a.m. and we say there's one at 11 a.m., one at 11:05, one at 11:12, one at 11:20, and so on. What if Michael and the judges in the first group have a really, really tough group, and they have to give more call-outs and more comparisons, and they have to move them around? Then it's going to go late. Then the next ones might come up, there might only be 3 in the next group, and you look at them once and you go first, second, third. That's the easiest category I've ever judged, and it goes very fast, so you didn't need 5 minutes. Then we might have a difficult one again, and this can go on all day from the very first category. So out of respect to the judges, out of respect to the competitors getting fair stage time, we don't do those schedules, because you know what happens when you do schedules? All of a sudden you're rushing groups of athletes. You're saying, oh, this group's meant to finish in 3 minutes or 5 minutes, and even though we haven't finished a comparison, I've seen at other shows, the head judge will be like, oh, just write something down, just vote now. No, it doesn't work for everyone. So my advice to you there would be, don't worry so much about schedules. Look at the running order. Always get there early. Better to be an hour early than even a minute late. And that applies to everything in life. But get there early, find out what's going on. We always have an athlete meeting at the start to give you the best guide that we can, and that's the why. How do I find out where I'm placed? Well, we actually put our top 3 up live. So when we do the shows, I have a photographer and a social media person there. When I get my results, they also get them on their phone. They take the picture of them in their victory salute, and they put up that top 3 with their names. Now, I've seen other groups just put their top 3 up and they don't even say who they are. They say, our men's winners. Well, we don't. We tag them, we go all the way. All right, and then the week after the show, Michael and the judges get a detailed list of all the competitors, if they're judging 1 through 10 or 1 through 15, and they put them up on the website at ifbbproleague.com.au. We're fully accountable with all that. We put all of our results. In fact, if you go back, now you can download all the results from the Arnold in every single category. Correct, Mick?
That's correct.
Pretty good. The medallions have been the same for the last few comps. Will they be changing? Well, somebody's been reading my mail. Yes, they will. We've got a whole new design coming for the mid-year pro qualifier, for the Country Classic, and for the B season shows. They're absolutely amazing. They're a cast metal. They're a lot of colour. There's a cutout design of the Pro League logo, and I can't wait to show you all when we've got them in. So yes, and every single competitor in all of our shows gets one of those medals. So even if you don't place, you can rock into work Monday morning like a winner with your medal around your neck. You can sleep in it for a while, take it to the zoo, restaurants. It can be a real conversation starter. You can even turn into a necklace later if you decide. Why do novice competitors get to compete in novice again if they've won this category previously? Well, we covered that a little bit earlier, but what that could mean would be if somebody wins a novice category, say at the Queensland qualifier for the Arnold, they can still go through to the Arnold and do the novice again because it's a bigger show. You can't go back. So if you do the novice in a particular season, say at the Pro League Victorian Championships to qualify for the Nationals, you can do novice at the Nationals. But if you win your state show, then you can't in season B, for example, next February, so I'm going to be a novice again. No, you can't because you've already won a state championship. Now you've got to go up to the Open. So novice is really designed for people that have not won a show. That's all the questions we got online. Have we had any others come on while I've been chatting, Mick?
Yes, we have, Tone. Just had 2 questions. The first one is, are pro cards up for grabs at all state and national shows?
No. We covered that. Just the national. So we do 3 lots of pro cards a year. 1 at the Arnold Classic, which is open to anyone in the world. Then we've just introduced a bikini and a men's physique pro card for the pro qualifier mid-year show on July 27th. Then we have all of our state shows as qualifiers for our nationals, which, as I said earlier, is at the Plenary Theatre. Now, you have to do a state show to qualify to do the nationals. Don't have to place, don't have to do anything you want, just show up. Compete, and then you go to the nationals in your best shape, and that's where we offer the pro cards, at the nationals. So the best of the best from all the states come across to compete, and even if you're not ready to go for a pro card, come and compete anyway, because what a great experience. You might do the novice in Perth, for example, and place top 2, top 3. Think, I did pretty well. Okay, now get with all the other novices from around Australia and really see where you're at, and get a picture with the winner. And so, well, that's the level of conditioning I need to bring. But best of all, get a picture of yourself and beat that guy every time.
What's the difference between first, second, third and fourth category? I think he means when we split categories, how do we do that?
I don't know. He might mean that when you can add categories on your registration too. I think he means that. So for example, that means you can do first timers. Let's say bikini. You might do first timers. Your second category might be junior or masters. Your third category might be novice. Your fourth category may be open. There's only some classes where you can go through and do 4 categories. Is that what you think it means, Simone? Yeah. So that's what gives you a choice of a second category. So you might go in and say, I'm going to do novice men's physique. And then it says, select second category. You go open. That's what that means.
What are the best preparation tips for an amateur wanting to enter a competition?
Well, this is really unique to every individual. But my hacks, if you like, would be to start early. You know, not to rush it and to leave it to the last week, because time and time again, particularly with first timers, they think, oh, everything's going to come together in the last week. And then when it doesn't, they're disappointed, or they blame their coach, or they hate on the other competitors or something. Truth is, you should be always ready, I think, 3 or 4 weeks before a show. I think don't get too heavy in the off season to begin with. And if you do, give yourself 20, 24 weeks to prep for a show. Not hardcore dieting for 24 weeks, that would be healthy, but to slowly reduce your body fat, the way you maintain your muscle mass and don't crash diet into anything. Because the shorter period you diet, the more chance you've got of just eating away your muscle, trying to burn that last bit of fat. So I think that's the best tip I can give. And look, do your research. Surround yourself with people that are doing the same thing. I mean, we live in an age where you can get any information in the world from the internet. But don't listen to bullshit about people saying you need to, take drugs or do crazy things or do these 5-hour workouts. Or there's some nut jobs out there that would convince people to say you've got to do all these unhealthy, dangerous things to compete in bikini or physique or even bodybuilding. And you don't. It's a long game. So I always say the first time is manage your expectations. Don't listen to people say, oh, you have to win because you ate diet food and got up and did cardio early in the morning. Well, so did everybody else, and there's still only one winner per category. The way that you win at this sport, I've been around it a long time, if you get a picture of yourself on stage, stick it up on your fridge and beat that person time and time again.
And one last question, Tony. Can you be too dry for men's physique?
Once again, have a look at Mr. Olympia and try and look like him. And I guess if you're over-dieted, over-emaciated and so grainy and dry that it affects your fullness and your look and your posing, yes, you can be too dry. You can be too heavy, you can be too soft, you can be too anything. But somewhere in the middle there's an ideal. So, I think you don't need to do the extreme drying out to try and get striated for men's physique, because it's a board short look. You know, you want to kind of look healthy and your skin glowing and pop when you do your poses and your twists and all that sort of thing. And if you're just completely stringy and over dieted, maybe it's not the right look. But go check out the winners of the Olympia and the Arnolds, and you'll see what we're looking for. Is that it?
That's it.
Any from you, Sim?
No, that was it.
Well, guys and girls, thanks for tuning in to another week of Pro League Live. I'm off to South Africa today for the Arnold Classic in Johannesburg, so I'll be off site for about the next 8 days. I'm not sure whether we'll have one for next week or whether I'll try and do it live from over there. We'll work on that, but our team will let you know. But we're going to be doing these regularly. We really appreciate you all tuning in. I think what was better about this week is we got to have your questions in advance. So don't hesitate. Look, we're not fussy about how you do things. All right, you can send them in as an email, you can DM us on the IFBB Pro League Oz account, or you can wait till when we put a post up saying, hey, you guys got any questions? And as you see, I answer every single one of them the best that I can. If I don't know something, I'll be the first to say I don't know. But I want to give you guys the tools and the information and the truth so that you can be the best that you can be. So keep on keeping on, spread the word. You know, girls and guys, tell people about this page. Get your friends that are interested in competing to follow our page, because there's a wealth of information there. There's a whole lot of great people to follow that we feature. And we'd like to feature you too. So if you do your little story on Instagram and you do at IFBB Pro League Oz in your story, we'll repost it. And then you'll get more followers and more popularity and the chance of getting sponsors and all that sort of thing with promoting yourself. But keep it classy, keep being the best you can be, and we're here for you. So that's it for me this week. Thank you. We're out.